Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for Worldwide Fistula Fund's 7th annual Evening to Restore Dignity. I am Dr. Rahel Nardos, board member of WFF since 2014. Having grown up in Ethiopia myself, where I witnessed the disproportionate burden that women carry during pregnancy and childbirth, I felt very privileged to be invited to join the Worldwide Fistula board by my mentor, Dr. Lewis Wall. Dr. Wall founded WFF in 1995 and took on its first mission to build a desperately needed fistula hospital in Niger, a country with one of the poorest maternal outcomes in Africa. Dr. Wall will join us a little bit later in this program to share a vision for Worldwide Fistula's future. So fast forward to 2022, which is now, WFF has expanded to 5 African countries with a mission to restore and protect the health and dignity of women by preventing and treating childbirth injuries. What makes WFF stand out among other organizations like this is our holistic approach to care, and also our commitment to empower and build the capacity of community champions and healthcare professionals who lead along 4 very crucial pillars: outreach to rural communities where women are most vulnerable, quality surgical care by expert surgeons, social and economic reintegration, and prevention. So although we're very proud of what we've accomplished so far, there are still many women who continue to suffer from fistula, either because they are unaware that treatment exists for their condition or have failed surgery performed by poorly trained surgeons. Over 90% of fistulas are curable if treated by an expert fistula surgeon in a very high quality manner. In sub-Saharan Africa, women also suffer alarming rates of other childbirth injuries, such as pelvic organ prolapse and perineal tears. During the past 2 years of the pandemic conditions and also conflicts in some of our partner sites, we are also seeing more unplanned pregnancies and home deliveries, leading to increased rates of childbirth injuries. So we need to do more to serve these women, but successful surgery is only the beginning of a woman's journey in healing. From a clinical perspective, they also need nutritional, physical, and psychological rehabilitation. And from a social and economic perspective, these women need help reintegrating back into their communities. And this is why we're involved in many other activities. We educate women about marital rights, the benefit of banking and savings, general women's health issues, and about childbirth injuries and how to prevent them for safe motherhood. Through solidarity groups of women, women join together for psychological support and also for opportunities for more economic empowerment. Women are able to launch small businesses and ventures and income generating activities individually or as a group. Once healed, most fistula survivors are very eager to give back to their communities, and especially to help prevent other women from going through what they did. As part of our reintegration program, we train women to be passionate advocates to spread awareness and prevention education messaging. I want to assure you that 100% of tonight's proceeds goes towards supporting women and girls with childbirth injuries in Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Kenya, Niger, and Uganda. And all donations are eligible to be doubled by a very generous $30,000 matching gift. None of this work will be possible without support of donors like you. Tonight, you will hear the latest from some of our local champions, staff, donors, and a very special survivor. Thank you again for taking the time to join us, and we hope that you enjoy the program.
Je m'appelle Sorwa Viu. Je m'habite à Bogo ici. Donc, il c'est que tout est problème de Fistula. Donc, en tout cas, tu pas Bobo Kama Konkonge. Donc, tu Bobo Kama Konkonga, toi, tu conseilles à docteur pareil. Tu as été Bamatra association Tibunti Arena, la Bewaga. La winam si son aton to antawaga wambul mise wedra wa kelen segatondo donc a kelen segatona a sit segatoni wawre la winam yuringa donc a kitamti segatona suka problème na ma face managa sabe donc ton me zine explique ta kiti ton man examenama bala avec combien bala eti no que problème kabe tiena rika tondo me avec combien obala la manton opération mais when am songa ni bugur bala la man opération la son mais la mba menga ya chuwa nuba teka la banga ni panemama la opération yi pipi opération bala en tout cas pas ma la fi don pam la pour me mamen kula mamele bon talam zoa tiena me chenge ntokoma la wen panginga yeme pama la fi yeme lebon tumda tuminga ren kiti association arena boton waga titon wati nata ba ngest ton vuima poko yeme hanton song tondo mais ton chenga me arika ton masonga yeme ta manton formation azam sa ton son moment ton nugu tumbu formation wa oble ko ton songor buto to ton songor menga bang ton vuima po fo me somo mana wena ne fo sampa mbakanga tipo son menga fo me razin zalam wa ba a 20 fo kamana ba fo ka somo san wo sura fo somo ni fo zugwati seke si wenam be wa a cheke ba ka be wenam san kan ningra tiye ren kiti runa ti ton bene association arena ka to bet mam wa represent comme mam musée pamba mam wa lui tawr paaba suka mam explique bama mam bayi toto la mam explique bama men ton bang ba sem bene bama me toto a neiti bama me vui mateke neiti bama me pam sum kyalam ti ba atara team a 20 pa me pa nina ningra zuma ti kata team ka 20 pe la ton banga mosa ti ba atara team anze me bakanga tuka arena association ba me nutu me yena donc ton me kelon côté ti wina ma Louis Puma tawre la wina wolo wina ne itu ton ti ton me ton wa ba ne Puma na ken toringa donc je voulais remercier WFF nama donc son nina donc kete datna kete on se va sans kete nan twin sonro ne ti tonu me kete chen toron passé en tout cas pipin se sonra na patondo ti datna bon se va pour barka ne association arena yuruna.
She is one of several thousand women WFF programs have healed and helped to get back on their paths to productive lives. But unfortunately, stories like her are all too common. Women can be isolated and suffer for years before learning that their condition is treatable and preventable. I'm Kathleen Davis. I'm a vice chair on the board of WFF. I have been working with Ladies with Fistula for over 15 years. Some of you may know me from One by One, an organization that was started about 2 decades ago in Seattle to focus on ladies with fistula. Moving fast forward to 2018, we decided to merge with WFF so we could expand our successful Kenya program to 5 countries in Africa. Now, 4 years after that successful merger, I'm excited that we continue to have many one-by-one friends working on the board and on committees and as donors. We are all highly involved and very excited about this work. Together, we are a much stronger organization. We build partnerships with in-country organizations. We empower them to educate communities in safe childbirth practices and to heal the world's most vulnerable women.
Donc, je voulais remercier WFF Nama. Nous sommes donc kete dat nan keto srba san ket nan twin songro ne titono me kete kentoron pase en tout cas pipin se songra na fato dat nan srba su barka ne association arena yurina nam yurina la tonam la ket dat nan
WFF identifies local leaders who are passionate about mothers delivering safely and treating childbirth injuries. We support these leaders to become our country champions and national leaders. We provide opportunities for them to have a voice on the world stage to advocate for preventing and treating childbirth injuries like fistula and improving maternal care across Africa. 3 of our country champions will be joining us in tonight's program. Soja and those of us who work deeply with them will be introducing them. So I will start with Sarah Omega, whom I've worked with for many years. Sarah's personal experience with fistula has led her to a lifelong career to prevent and treat devastating childbirth injuries. With the merger of One by One to WFF, she has been able to continue to run support groups for over 200 ladies who have been repaired and are now running their income-generating businesses and going to communities across Kenya to teach them how to have safe childbirth and prevent fistula. This year, she's starting a new program that I'm really excited about. She is starting a young champion fistula clubs in many Kenya schools to teach the younger generation how to avoid fistula by putting off early marriages and staying in school. And now I would like to pass the baton to our former chair, Dr. Christopher Payne.
Thank you, Kathleen. I'm Dr. Christopher Payne, the board program lead for Burkina Faso. I've been a board member since 2012. Like many others, I became interested in the problem of childbirth injuries because of our inspiring founder, Dr. Lewis Wall. We happened to be speaking back-to-back at the same conference in 2005, and I was astounded to hear him discuss this terrible, neglected disease that can be both cured and prevented through basic surgical care. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Atengre Wadrago. I met Dr. Atengre shortly after joining WFF. He was an excellent general surgeon working with the WHO. We hired him to direct our new fistula center in Danja, Niger. We supported his advanced training in fistula surgery, and he ultimately became FIGO certified as a fistula surgeon, still one of only a handful in West Africa to have achieved this high level. In 2017, Dr. Atengre returned to work in Burkina Faso. He developed his own NGO, ARENA. Last year, he completed the construction of the first dedicated fistula center in all of Burkina Faso. The opening of the center this year will be the culmination of a dream and years of hard work. We look forward to seeing Dr. Atengre provide the complete menu of services in one location: surgery, survivor reintegration, advocacy and outreach, and surgical team trainings. We're honored to have been a part of helping him realize this vision. I don't like to take time away from it, Dr. Atengre, but I am compelled to say a little bit more about his personal story. Born in a village in rural Burkina Faso, he spoke the regional language, but he learned French in school. He was then able to take advantage of a scholarship to be educated in Cuba. And so all of his advanced education took place in Spanish. And today he's going to be speaking to us in English, his fourth language. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Theresa Spitznagle, and I'm a professor at Washington University in St. Louis in the program in physical therapy. And I'm duly appointed in physical therapy and OBGYN because of my specialty related to women's and pelvic health. I've served on the board for the Worldwide Fistula Fund since 2014 and am the program lead for Uganda. Uganda, the program itself is led by Alice Umatsu, who has a vision and a passion for caring for women. She learned about obstetric fistula from close friends of hers when she was a young woman and realized that there was many social needs that really weren't built into the system within her country. And so she spent the largest part of her life dedicated to caring for women who have injuries related to childbirth. Alice was introduced, actually introduced herself to Dr. Lewis well over 10 years ago when she came to Washington University in St. Louis to get her master's degree in social work. At that time, she reached out to Lewis because she understood he knew something about obstetric fistula. And we, as the Worldwide Fistula Fund, have been supporting her programs and projects ever since. In 2019, Alice opened the Terribody Community Hospital, which is a regional hospital that came out of the needs of the women that she was serving. She found that just simply providing funding for local surgeons and community reintegration wasn't meeting all the needs of the women, that they needed a dedicated hospital. My personal experiences have stemmed from being able to help build the physical therapy program within the hospital setting itself. And I've had the opportunity to travel twice to the region in order to see the hospital as it was being built and then participate in the grand opening of the facilities. So now I'd like to hand things over to our executive director, Soja Orlowski.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. As Executive Director and Program Officer, I have the privilege of working with tonight's guests, and let's introduce them. Joining us from Uganda is Alice Masu, Executive Director of Terribody. Hi, Alice.
Hi, everyone.
And joining us from Kenya is Sarah Omega, Executive Director of Let's End Fistula Initiative.
Hello, everyone.
And joining us from Burkina Faso is Executive Director of ARENA and the fistula surgeon for ARENA, Dr. Atengre. Hi, Dr. Atengre.
Hi, everyone.
So I'm so glad you could all join us and share what you've been doing with our supporters tonight. I wanted to start with acknowledging that you've all been very hard at work on many new programs. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about any new programs that you're working on that you're excited about right now. Let's start with Sarah.
At Let's End Fistula Initiative, we recently launched what we call Part B of our prevention work, whereby we are working with the high school students to do prevention work. We are building their capacity to actually address the challenges that they're faced with, and mostly, the challenges around teenage pregnancy, mental health, gender-based violence, and also to counter those harmful cultural practices like FGM and early forced marriage. We've launched 8 counting clubs for young champions, fistula clubs, whereby we are working with the 60 students from actually 31 schools, high schools, building the capacity of adolescent girls and boys, and be able, to be part of the solution finding in the area of maternal health. It's just so powerful. Right now we are in the process of putting structures, and we had in early March this year, we had our first joint meeting for all the teachers who are involved in the Young Champions Fistula clubs. And it was really exciting to see the teachers come together, people in the same profession coming together, helping in co-creating this program to ensure that, it serves its purpose by ensuring that, we are able to end maternal mortality and morbidity, especially in the young generation. And for me, we look at it, besides the important work we are doing with the women in the solidarity groups and the women in the community, having this work happen at the level of the adolescent girls and boys, for me, I look at it actually the real ending of fistula, because it means this is work that will impact this generation and the next generation. So it is really exciting to see what's happening at LEFI at this time.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Sarah. It must be really exciting and really affirming to do that kind of work with adolescents. Dr. Atengre, would you like to share with us what you've been working on? I know you've been working on a lot. Please share with us.
We have been working in various fields, doing surgery. We are working in the logistics to get our new clinic open. We are working slowly with our new staff, and we are thankful for the additional funding that we got from partners to get equipment for our laboratory. So far, our providers are moving and to get us the equipment for the laboratory. And we were expecting to get our clinic open by the second quarter, but we had the political situation that slowed down our activities. So right now we are expecting for the new government to give us the official authorization. So that would allow us open the clinic. The other thing that we are still working on is training in the new staff. Right now that we are not officially open, some of our staff are working in the community, and we know that they have clinical background, but we need them to have to get focused on the care of fistula patient. And for that to happen, they need training related to fistula clinical care. So we are waiting that with the opening of the clinic, we will get them the official training and launch our activity.
Thank you, Dr. Atengre. That's very exciting and a lot going on. I know Alice has experience with opening a new hospital, and it's extraordinarily difficult. And she's now running her hospital, but also you have some other new programs that you're working on, Alice. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, one of the most exciting programs that we are developing at Terrywonder Women's Community Hospital is the Physiotherapy Unit. Physiotherapy in Uganda and probably in most parts of sub-Saharan Africa has not been well utilized and recognized as an important component of fistula care. And since 2021, when we launched a unit for physiotherapy, we have seen tremendous improvement in the quality of life of women with obstetric fistula who would have otherwise either have stayed much longer in a hospital admission for fistula care, or would have not received 100% recovery without physiotherapy services. The other thing that is quite equally exciting to us is we've been empowering the former fistula patients and enabling, facilitating them to go back to the communities and build solidarity groups where they can sustain awareness, about obstetric fistula and general maternal and neonatal health. We are now resuming this activity at a much higher level than it was before. Community fistula solidarity groups, though 100% women-led, they are founded by survivors, but they bring all together the entire village. Usually these groups are composed of about 30 members, you know, in average. Some actually exceed that number. We have 27 well-established groups, but then we had another 11 who are struggling. They are emerging, and so we are prioritizing getting back to this to strengthen. This solidarity group act as a social support system for many of the women and girls who are suffering from obstetric fistula, survivors who are still undergoing treatment, but also other women who are suffering from all forms of gender-based violence. The country has the highest rate of teen pregnancies, okay, resulting from the long periods of schools being locked down. So these groups are going to be our solutions. So when they come together, then we are able to feel that power. So yes, these are some of the most exciting new programs that we are launching moving forward.
So that's exciting to see how you're emerging from COVID with resumption of a very important program in Terribody. I want to continue with that theme and talk more about COVID. And the past 2 years have been extraordinarily impacting your programming and what everyone can do. And I want to ask each of you, how has your organization reemerged? What has changed? How are you progressing since 2 years of lockdowns and reopenings? And then as a follow-up question, I want to ask you, what types of adaptations have you made that now you're incorporating into your regular programming? Let's start with Dr. Atengre.
The problem now that we are coming out is that we have a backlog of patients that need care. So that's one thing, that we need to take care of these ladies. And therefore, we have so many women in our waiting list that need surgery. And an example is that only for the first quarter, we have done 59 surgeries. So that is an indication that we had a lot of women that were expecting to get surgery. For new adaptation, because we still need to keep developing activity, it is just like we are relearning how to do activity after 2 years of restriction. And we have learned some lessons that we are incorporating in our daily practice. Specifically for us here, since we were not able to get to all the villages and it was difficult for our patient to come, the post-operative follow-up, we were maybe really communicating with the telephone. So we found out that maybe this is one of the ways that is cost effectiveness. If they don't have specific problem, and if it is just related to getting information for sexual and reproductive life after surgery, we could communicate through the telephone. We have learned that it is easier for some of the ladies able to make short video and say, oh, here I am, and this is my condition, and this is what I want to say. And then they just send that to us. We started preparing most of our ladies through the education and giving them some gadget on obstetric fistula. So when they go back to the villages, what they need to do is to distribute that in the village, and then they get the information to other ladies. So we find out that this is something that we could incorporate in our new practice. And of course, the social media, like the Facebook, has been very important for us here. They get in contact with our Facebook page, then they spread the information. And we have got many patients like this. So this is a good practice for us. And it is, you know, it is cost effective. These are some of the things that I can share with you.
Thank you, Dr. Atengre. So now I'm going to ask the question to Sarah. So Sarah, tell me how you and your leadership team has been able to help LEFI emerge out of 2 years of intense COVID impact. And also tell me about what adaptations that you're moving forward with as regular practice.
When COVID hit, you know, due to restrictions and, you know, women, you know, expectant women, you know, preferring to deliver at home due to fears and the rise of, you know, teenage pregnancy, starting to see so many fistula cases. And therefore that meant that we had to go back to the drawing board and see how to restructure, you know, that component, because for last couple of years, we've been only relying on referrals, but now we actually had to go back and start finding, you know, deliberately finding fistula patients and linking them with fistula treatment opportunities. Before COVID happened, we would even, you know, only refer maybe 5 patients in a month. Towards the end of last year, this year, we even refer up to 30 patients in a month. And on economic empowerment, this is where we work with women, those fistula survivors after they've undergone successful surgical treatment. We do it through solidarity groups, and they mostly, you know, engage in income generating activities as a group or as individuals. So far we have 18 solidarity groups with membership of average membership of about 20 members. And the income generating activities, especially those they do as a group, they were adversely affected because some, you know, they were unable to go to the marketplace. Some they didn't even till their lands. Some, you know, so, and especially the table banking, you know, because all our groups engage in table banking. So you find that some members had borrowed, you know, loans from the table banking. And now since they're unable to go to the market, they were unable to repay those loans. So we've been deliberately connecting with each group to understand what their situation is, because we just didn't want to treat all the groups. This is how we are going to do it. So we connect, understand where the challenges are, and also work together with the group to finding out how they're going to heal from that, you know, from that space. Yeah, so we've seen the group starting to pick up and starting to make really good progress. So we are grateful that at least we are in this space of, you know, we can see hope. Yeah, we can see hope. Also, on the same note, that we at the leadership team, we also really depended on you know, the in-person meetings. But when COVID happened, the only option we were left with was virtual meetings, and it was a new thing for us. With time, we realized this is also one and most effective way of, you know, having a lot done with the minimal resources, and you know, also helps a lot in saving time. So this is something we've embraced, the issue of virtual meetings, and it is helping us a big deal. So those are the two things we've adapted, you know, from following COVID.
Thank you, Sarah. So Alice, you've spoken a little bit already about some of the things that were impacting all of your programming during COVID and how you're changing things. So maybe you could focus on telling us kind of what type of adaptations that you made during COVID are now what you're doing permanently as part of your operations.
For us, the virtual meetings have become part of our strategies for engaging with the governors and the board of directors. So there are times when we'll have partially virtual, and then some few people will meet physically. And this has reduced on our budgets. I think this is the most effective way moving forward. They also utilized the toll-free telephone line. I do not know how we would have managed without a toll-free health hotline. It operated 24 hours. It helped us to raise confidence among the general public that Terrywonder Women's Hospital stayed open and continued to provide care to this population of our mothers, even amidst the tight travel restrictions and all the challenges. We have put a lot of effort to strengthen collaborations with the local governments. Because we in Terribody, we truly believe that we only complement what the efforts of governments are in providing care for the mothers, for the women of Uganda, for the girl child of Uganda. Because during the last financial year, we provided care to more than 200 women. And we have continued this year. We are working to already serve 400 women by end of June.
Thank you, Alice. I want you to share with us what you see as your biggest need over the next, say, 2 years. Let's start with Dr. Atengre.
We need qualified human resources, and they need training. But the other side is to get integrated maternal care inside the clinic, because we want to be able to follow specifically our fistula patient when they get pregnant, so that they could get reliable prenatal care. But at the same time, if we are able to get our own staff trained in the prevention, the woman that would be followed in our clinic, of course, they will have less possibility to develop fistula. And that is something, a model that we could export to other centers. We need to create a network with other local partners in community outreach activity to prevent the development of fistula. We need qualified people who know how to do that, to develop our relationship, to educate community leaders, and shares for very good local partners to develop that, and for a national organization too. So like the Midwife Association, the board of gynecologists here, we need to develop relationship with them. And for the third pillar, it is social integration. That needed a big network too. This year, we will be already starting our program of training through our partnership with the teaching hospital in Bobo-Dioulasso, where we will be training resident and gynecology and urology and other urologists to do fistula surgery. But we are expecting to develop a training in our own clinic for clinical providers and other health centers. We are trying to develop an experience with the Solidarity Group. So far, we are experiencing with 2 localities, and it looked great. The clinic arena is working to open, will be the first clinic that will be delivering integrated treatment for women with fistula.
Thank you, Dr. Atengre. And Sarah, from your standpoint, for Lefty, what do you see as the biggest need over the next 2 years?
The greatest need for the next 2 years would be really just scaling up and scaling out of our programs. We started with the launch of 11 solidarity groups. 2021, we added 7. Our hope is to keep on, increasing this, to keep on, launching new solidarity groups because there's so many women after they've been treated, they don't know where next or what to do. And we feel like the services we are offering or through the solidarity groups will be beneficial to so many other women. Looking at also the work we started with the young, the work we've started of Young Champions Fistula clubs. We've started with already 8 county clubs. This is something we are looking at it spreading to all the counties within Kenya and far beyond Kenya, because I think it is of the few friends and potential partners we've talked, have been sharing this dream with. They seem to be really interested with this component because they feel if we are able to target the younger generation, then we are actually, that is the best way of trying to end something that has been there for generations. Again, for us, as we are looking at it, we've been in existence for 10 years. We are looking at, getting to that space of, also being able to start generating our own income. That guarantees continuity of this work and the sustainability, which is critical when we are trying to do something, because you can't say that you'll rely on funding all the time, or you rely on this fund, you rely on external funding like 100%. So those are the 3 critical areas I feel will be areas of big need as we look into 2022, 2023, and 2024. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. And Alice, if you could share with us where you see the organization going, where you see Terribody going in the next 2 years, and what your greatest need you see for that organization to move forward.
First and foremost, our focus is on strengthening Terrywonder Women's Community Hospital. We want to develop this hospital to be a one-stop healthcare service center for the mothers and the women. So one of the important package of treatment that we provide to these women is knowledge about how to prevent a fistula or even maternal mortality. Health education is critical, but focusing on family planning and empowering them on family planning. However, there are some clinics that are still not available at the Terribody Women's Community Hospital. And so we are looking into developing incontinence clinics, urodynamic clinics, to make this specialized hospital a one-stop hospital for all the women and the girl children who are suffering from obstetric fistula and other birth-related injuries. We are looking into developing a subspecialty program for training of obstetricians and gynecology. We are also looking into expanding the community outreach. When you empower a woman, you are actually empowering the entire family. You are empowering the entire community. And therefore, it is worth spending time, spending the limited resources more strategically by supporting the efforts of these women. You set your foot at Terribody Women's Community Hospital, you don't get out the same person. And for us to sustain this, we really need partnerships. We need people who can support this. It is quite costly to do this. Today in Uganda, 16 women die every day due to preventable complications of childbirth. We cannot continue making this a song. And so we are exploring all innovations, all strategies that will support this dream to come true. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alice. In closing, I want to give you guys a chance to talk about other aspects that we haven't covered today that you'd like our supporters to know about. So let's start with Sarah.
I would start by sincerely thanking that's Misty and Kathleen, who continue to work very closely with me. We usually do these weekly calls that have been very, very helpful, and especially for me. The fact that, being an executive director, it's a new space for me. But, them, holding my hand and guiding me through and mentoring me in this role has been very beneficial to me as a person. And in return, it has also been very beneficial to us at LEFI. And again, for me, I think what I would really like people to know this evening that the most exciting part or bit of LEFI's work is just knowing that we are not developing programs to address, problems or the challenges, but we are going far beyond just addressing, but looking into the root causes of the problems we are trying, to address. We are going deep into the communities to look at what is the root cause of this maternal deaths and complications. If it's matters to do with poverty, it's a contributor. How do we address that? By empowering women economically. If we are talking about teenage pregnancy, what do we do? What are those contributors? Those are the things we are addressing through our programs. And for me, I feel if we call ourselves, an initiative in ending fistula, that's the way to go. Not just dealing with the fruits, but going to the root cause of it. So, thank you.
I would like first to say, we here at Arena, we are really thankful for having people like you, organizations like WFF supporting us, because I'm a medical doctor, but the problem with obstetric fistula is not just that we are dealing with a disease. We are dealing with a structural problem in the society. And you are contributing to solve this problem. So I am particularly thankful for the support, technical support, and mentorship I'm getting from Dr. Christopher Payne. Not only in the clinical side, but also in other matters like management and other things. So this is really important for us. It's, the international community has said 2030 has a deadline to end obstetric fistula. And, for that to happen, we need prevention, but we need to treat the backlog. And we need to empower the woman so that they will contribute. We need to say that we still need a lot from our supporters. As I said, you are supporting technically, you are supporting financially, and I must be honest and say we couldn't do anything on ground without your support. For just a short story, I was talking with a lady after her fistula repair, and she asked how we were able to help them get to the treatment without paying, because she has been living many years with her fistula and she didn't have the money to get the treatment. And I say, well, we have people giving the money so that we could treat you. And one thing she said is, well, they are the hand of God for us here. So this is just to give you an idea of what you are doing on the ground. You are treating people, you are empowering the woman, so you are contributing greatly to the development of our community and our country. So I want to say thank you. And I need to say we still need you so that we will be able to end obstetric fistula by 2030. Thank you very much.
First of all, I want to appreciate all our supporters who have made routine operations at Terrywonder Women's Community Hospital possible. Indeed, there is no single word to say thank you. In my language, we would say, Yalaman, no. You've done us great. Thank you so much. And to the team, the Worldwide Fistula Fund, especially, allow me just to mention these names. Tracy Physiotherapy, the success of physiotherapy services at Terribody Women's Community Hospital is looking up to you as a mentor. Thank you for offering your time. I would also like to thank Tracy, the efforts of Rahel in trying to help us develop the research unit at Terribody Women's Community Hospital. I also want to recognize and appreciate your former board member, Professor Louise. Is actually also our mentor. To put a smile on the face of a patient consistently from the day of arrival at the hospital to the day of departure, originally previously at 14 days on average, but with the COVID era, during the COVID era, the stay of patients in the hospital was prolonged to average of 17 days. You need funds to be able to do that. You need doctors. And more so we are talking about specialist doctors, gynecologists, and obstetricians. These doctors have sacrificed themselves to be there at Terribody Women's Hospital full-time, and that's all they are doing each day. For you to compensate for their time, you need money. And so your support to us is highly appreciated.
I want to say thank you to all of you. You know, everybody at WFF, we are all very proud and very honored to be working with all of you, to see how your programs have grown and you're planning for the future and how you're having a true impact on the lives of women in your country. So thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your continued support.
Thank you, everyone. I feel so excited. I wish we could do this always.
Hi, my name's Nancy Adrian, and I'm coming to you on behalf of the Adrian Family Foundation. I'm happy to say that we have supported the Worldwide Fistula Fund for over 10 years, and we've been able to donate $500,000 over that period. We support this fund because the way it changes young women's lives. They go from the heartbreak of a childbirth injury to a productive life. We're so excited about future plans for expansion that we've committed to triple our donation in coming years. And we believe in this cause enough to make a matching grant up to $30,000. And so I would ask you to join with me in supporting Worldwide Fistula Fund and giving generously. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Dr. Lewis Wall, founder of the Worldwide Fistula Fund. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'd like to spend just a couple of minutes filling you in on some thoughts I have about the past, present, and future of the Worldwide Fistula Fund. When we founded the Worldwide Fistula Fund back in 1995, 27 years ago, it was our vision to create institutions that would provide holistic care for women with catastrophic childbirth traumas, such as vesicovaginal fistulas. We took a holistic model because we knew that simply fixing the hole in the woman's bladder was not going to be enough to restore her personhood, to her place in the community, and her place in society. We've been remarkably successful. We spent a lot of time looking for what I tend to call the pearls of great price in those countries where fistulas are prevalent. And we've identified a lot of them. We found Dr. Atengre to work in Niger and now Burkina Faso. We found Alice Imasu, who's doing tremendous work in Uganda. And we found Sarah in Kenya to continue the work there as well. We've got robust programs in Niger, Burkina Faso, Uganda, and Kenya. And a great deal of our current and future work is going to have to be gathering the resources to provide those people with the long-term stability they need. Because whether we like it or not, fistulas afflict the poorest of the world's poor, and they can't bring the resources that they need by themselves. Many of our greatest challenges are going to be occurring in Ethiopia. We've had a long-standing partnership with the College of Health Sciences at Mekelle University, and we built the country's first urogynecology fellowship training program to improve the clinical skills of doctors working in the field. Since November of 2020, the Tigray region of Ethiopia, where Mekelle University is located, has been the scene of a terrible civil conflict, a civil war, which has brought the northern region to its knees and created a massive increase in the number of women with fistulas, both from childbirth trauma, because the hospital system has largely broken down and they can't get care they need when they have problems in labor. But a disturbing number of women have traumatic fistulas from sexual assault in wartime. These women are going to need long-term care and a holistic approach if they're to be made whole again. And we look forward to developing programs in Ethiopia. We are currently exploring the possibility of partnering with the Mukwege Foundation from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Those of you who know may know that Denis Mukwege won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2018 for his work on traumatic fistulas and the care of women who've sustained them in the conflicts in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We very much appreciate your support. We appreciate how you've stood with us in the past. We look forward to exciting opportunities in the future, and we're grateful for your continued support of the Worldwide Fistula Fund. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you've done for the women of Africa. We look forward to continuing our progress together in the years to come.
Thank you, Dr. Wall, and good evening to all of you. I'm Board Chair Mary Rose Keller. I found it inspiring to hear directly from Dr. Atengre, Alice, and Sarah tonight, and I hope you did as well. I agree with Dr. Wall that our investment in the growth of these local leaders is ongoing, but has had many great successes. They continue to imagine and implement program expansions in their countries, and WFF is excited to hear about them and to support them. We encourage each of our grantees to seek additional partners to reduce their reliance on WFF moving forward, and they are succeeding in that area as well. Dr. Wall spoke of the challenges in Ethiopia. The ongoing war and its effect on the people of Tigray has been difficult. We continue to communicate with Mekelle University and our urogynecology fellows, and we continue to seek ways to provide support. We are in ongoing discussions with government representatives and nonprofit organizations, and we are also seeking ways to restore their programs in Ethiopia. The country has many challenges ahead, and we will continue to seek ways to help. In Ethiopia and elsewhere, WFF is exploring future opportunities for partnership and new program directions. As always, we will keep you informed of our progress. You have made possible all of WFF's work that has been highlighted tonight. I am so very proud to be part of this organization and have the opportunity to lead and support holistic care in 5 African countries. Thank you all for your support.
Thank you, Mary Rose. And thank you to all of you for joining us tonight. Our grantees are always excited to share with you how your donation dollars are put into programming to help women in their countries. We are so grateful for your commitment and for your enthusiasm for our mission. Don't forget, the auction is open until 11:59 tonight. So please keep bidding on your favorite items. And also, don't forget that if you give tonight, Nancy, who spoke earlier, is willing to match your gift and double it up to $30,000. Thank you so much once again for joining us, and have a good evening.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.